What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy TJ here, bringing you the final part of my Wwe 2K22 wish list. Now, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, click that subscribe button, and also click that notification bell to be notified of my latest videos. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And lastly, but certainly not least, we're going to talk about game modes and also other features that I would like to see in Wwe 2K22. Now, one of the game modes that I would love to see make a comeback is Road to Wrestlemania mode. We had this feature in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, 2010, 2011. I was a huge fan of Road to Wrestlemania mode. I love the creative storylines that it gave us. One of my favorite storylines was John Cena in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. And for this Road to Wrestlemania mode, I would choose custom storylines for Edge, Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and John Cena. For Edge, you can have sort of a redemption storyline where he becomes the World Heavyweight Champion once again, or Universal Champion. Well, in this storyline, Edge can become Universal Champion, and then the next night on SmackDown, he could reinstate the World Heavyweight Championship, because that was the belt that he never lost. And also for Roman Reigns, you could have a dominant storyline where he just straight up dominates his opponents for over a year. You know, he's the tribal chief, he's the head of the table. You can have a whole family rivalry between him and The Rock. The Rock would be his final opponent at WrestleMania. And also, Asuka, you could have a storyline with her, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai. You could have them form a faction. Now, I would love to see it. This is a personal favorite of mine. I was just jotting down ideas for storylines I would love to see for this Road to Wrestlemania mode. And this one really stuck out to me because I'm a huge fan of all three of them. I would love to see a faction where just three of them just flat out dominating the whole women's division. And for John Cena, this one would be a retirement storyline for John Cena, where he goes Hollywood, comes back. A lot of people hate him for what he did. People calling him a sellout, people calling him a hypocrite, just like he called The Rock a hypocrite for moving on to Hollywood. This would be a retirement storyline for John Cena, where John Cena would face an up-and-coming talent. I don't know who would be a good opponent for John Cena. Let me know down below. Yeah, this would be a whole new gimmick for John Cena. He would go full Hollywood, similar to what The Rock did. You know, the suits, the glasses, the fame, bright lights, everything. You know, Hollywood. This would all culminate in a WrestleMania match, his final WrestleMania match in which he would retire. Also, I would love to see a Road to NXT TakeOver mode. Now, this could be specifically for NXT superstars. And the NXT superstars I've selected were Dakota Kai, Adam Cole, Walter, Karrion Kross, and a male or female creator wrestler. And also for these modes, I would like to see actual voiceovers from the characters in each storyline, similar to how it was in the SmackDown vs. Raw series. You had the actual wrestlers doing the voiceovers. Each wrestler performed their own character. Moving on to Mycareer. And honestly, this should be a video on its own. A similar format to NBA 2K's Mycareer. You would show the ins and outs of being a professional wrestler. It's not just going in and competing night in and night out, winning championships. Show the process of becoming a professional wrestler, training, choosing your character, choosing a manager, all of that. All the hard work that goes into being a professional wrestler. Gimmicks, merchandise, all of that. Also, I would like to see an archetype system. And this would be based on attributes and tendencies, and players could switch archetypes 2 times in their career. And these archetypes would be a high flyer, which would result in high diving attributes and access to high flying skills and abilities. And you have powerhouse, which is a high strength attribute, access to powerhouse skills and abilities. Also, you have showman, high promo attributes, access to showman skills and attributes. Also, technician, you have a high technical attribute, access to technical skills and abilities. Well-rounded, balanced attributes, and you get access to a wide range of skills and attributes. And there are 3 distinct paths a player can take, and there will be pros and cons to each one. There will be an indie darling. You can go from being a star in the indies to NXT to WWE. Obviously, this would be the longer path, but it would be more rewarding. You could start out being a nobody in the independent scene, work your way up in the independent scene, get hired by different independent companies, and then, based on your marketability, you move on to NXT, which is the proving ground to WWE, Raw and SmackDown. And homegrown, which you would start out in the Performance Center, and you would move to NXT, and based on how well you do in NXT, you would move on to the main roster. And star power, you would just go straight to WWE, like AJ Styles or Ronda Rousey. And there are 3 distinct paths to star power. This one would be you were a former actor or movie star like The Miz, or you were a former MMA fighter like Ronda Rousey, or you were a former star athlete like Kurt Angle or Bianca Belair. And moving on to character, I have 3 distinct factors as it pertains to character. One of them is marketability, and your marketability will be determined by your match performance, how well you do in promos, your merch sales, and how engaged you are with your fans on social media. Like I said, this is going to be a more in-depth Mycareer mode than what we're used to seeing. Show the ins and outs of being a professional wrestler, what goes on outside of the ring as well as what's going on inside of the ring. Because being a wrestler is not just about how well you do in promos. It's not just about how well you perform in the ring. It's about marketability. How well can you sell yourself to the audience? And marketability can also be determined by your match performance, your sales and engagement, and this will also lead to a higher chance of progressing to the next stage of your career based on how well you perform. And I know I mentioned social media engagement, and social media engagement comes through promoting your upcoming matches, calling out other wrestlers, or interacting with fans, etc. And moving on to the next factor of your character, which is personality. Now, this will affect your promos. You can go with either a laid-back personality style, you can go with a more passionate, angry style, you can go with a more serious style, or goofy, or a sinister style. Also, goals. Goals is another factor of your character. You can have specific goals laid out for your character. Say, for instance, if you want to get X amount of championships on the independent circuit, you can do that. Say, for instance, you want to get to a certain following on social media. That can be a goal. Another goal can be you getting a manager or winning a championship in NXT. Another goal is obviously to main event Wrestlemania or headline a pay-per-view event. I know I briefly mentioned managers, and this would be a key facet of your character. Players can create their own managers or you can obtain a manager once you move to NXT or the main roster. Obviously, you won't have a manager for the independent scene. I feel like that would be, I know they exist obviously on the independent scene, but obviously once you progress through the Mycareer, you would get access to more perks, and that would be one of the bigger perks. As you move to NXT or the main roster, you would get a manager, or you can opt out. Okay, so for managers, you can have them sign a manager's contract, which will give you their services for 1 year. And managers may opt out of their contract if, say for instance, if you're not performing well, you're constantly losing matches, they can opt out of their contract if you're not performing well. And also this could lead to a storyline where they turn on you in the middle of a match. Or they can just simply shoot you a text saying, hey, you need to step your game up. If you don't step your game up, then I'm gone. I'm out of here. So, also, the benefit of having a manager is that they would get perks that will give you advantages in matches if you are on a winning streak. Say, for instance, if you're winning all your matches, you're on a roll. So your managers will have exclusive perks that will give you advantages in your matches. Whew. That was a mouthful. That was a lot. All right, so moving on to other features I would like to see in WWE 2K22 is a WWE Live Feature. I called it this because I wanted to give it a specific name. And this is basically frequent roster updates. I know this is mentioned by many other YouTubers. Other people have mentioned this before. But I would love to see a roster update feature. NBA 2K has it. Madden has it. FIFA has it, I think. If wrestlers update their character, like they update their attires so often, it's crazy. We should have the ability to get those updates. It could be like a day or two after they make their changes. Like it could be a change in attire, a change in their overall look. And for attire updates, we can still have access to the default attire. It would just be an addition to what we have already. And also graphics updates. Say for instance, if NXT has a new look now. I personally like it. So since NXT has their new look, I would love to see a graphic update for NXT. And also if Raw and SmackDown and NXT UK decided to update their graphics, that should be another part of the update. Also ratings updates. Say for instance, if a superstar is performing well on TV, we should see an increase in their attributes in the game. Now, obviously this feature can be turned off. I know not everyone will like this feature, but this feature could be an optional feature. And also, lastly, we have a performance center. And what the performance center is, it's similar to SmackDown versus Raw 2010, where you had the training center. You could just do like little warm-up matches. So this could also be a training mode. This can be either a free training, you could do either free training matches, or you can work on specific skills. And this would be similar to NBA 2K, where you have NBA 2KU, where you can work on different plays or scrimmage or freestyle or do whatever. So also for the performance center mode, you could do a level up feature for your creative wrestlers. Instead of just changing their attributes to how you see fit in Creative Wrestler, you can just do the level up feature where creative wrestlers could get attribute increases by going through the Performance Center, by constantly working on specific skills or working on just doing free training in the ring. And that is it for my WWE 2K22 wish list. I know that was a lot to handle. Sorry, not sorry. But let me know what your wish list is. Leave a comment down below. hit that thumbs up button, click that notification bell to stay notified of my latest videos. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.